What's up, guys? Gun here. Happy Saturday night, man. This is the night where we get all of the bulk of the work done, especially for me, all of the lineups that I plan to play tomorrow on all the different sites. I tend to have that done before my head hits the pillow tonight and every Saturday night, and it's no different. Immediately after this video goes live, I will be basically parked at my desk and in the RunDFS.com NFL VIP voice chat. If you guys want in on that, you guys know we've been bragging about it, talking about it for years. Every Saturday night, the candle burn. Go to RunDFS.com, get yourself a VIP sub, and then you'll get the link to the Discord. You click it, open it up. You'll have something that looks like this, and then you'll go to football voice chat. You click on it, bam, I'm there. And you guys can listen in, mute your mic, listen in, or grab a mic, talk some stuff, make some new DFS friends, and we'll grind our plays, talk some strategy, talk some player pools and ideas and all that good stuff. So once again, RunDFS.com, sign up, try a week pass out, man. Test it out, see what you like. In addition to the voice chat, you'll get full access to the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet. We have it for baseball, we have it for NFL, and we'll have it for NBA next month. It comes with my picks, my notes on every game, my player pool, my favorite GPP groups, and projections, all this good stuff. Even week one stats, so like snap counts for particular players. As we get another week or two of sample size, I'll break this up into separate tabs, for receivers, for running backs, quarterbacks, all that stuff. But I figured with just 1 week of sample size, I didn't need to go too crazy. And the tab still, or the spreadsheet still has a lot of last year's information. So you guys want access to all this good stuff, a good way to support the channel, support the stream, go to RunDFS.com. And get yourself a VIP pass. Speaking of supporting the channel, shout out to you guys. I was researching on ways to shake up the channel. I told you guys that inactive channels, even with many subs, we have almost 5,000 here, tend to get pushed in the back with their algorithm if those channels are inactive for a long time. And over the summer we didn't really upload much because there was no NBA. We had some issues with the YouTube striking some videos for all the draft. Any video that we had a link to DraftKings or FanDuel in the description, all those videos got flagged for like pushing gambling. It was so stupid. I believe Pat Mayo, other like big channels got hit with that too. So we had to overcome that. And now we're trying to build things back up. And one of the ways we wanted to do it is to get activity on all the videos that we're posting. So we did the $25 PayPal contest, and this video will qualify for that as well. Encouraging people to leave comments, hit thumbs up, subscribe. And I'm definitely happy to see our subscriber numbers go up this week, our view numbers go up this week, and our video interactions go up this week. So we'll probably do another contest next week. But if you guys missed out on the deets, here's the deets. Every video we posted this week, the week one review, all the positional picks, my favorite value plays. If you are a subscriber, you hit thumbs up and you leave a comment on those videos. Each video that you comment on this week will count as one entry into the drawing on Monday, and we'll do the $25 PayPal giveaway on Monday. Please make sure you do have a PayPal. I don't want to send like money orders or Bitcoin or whatever. Just have a PayPal, or you can cash in a week pass. Either way, we'll do the drawing on Monday in the week 2 review video. So I do appreciate you guys participating, and it is really helping the channel a lot. So leave a comment on this video if you want in there. Also, post notifications. There's a notification bell if you guys want to make sure YouTube notifies you when we have some new stuff up. Hit that. Shortly, I don't want to say next week, but shortly we're going to have expansion on this YouTube channel. We're going to have some NBA content, maybe some preseason thoughts and previews on teams and stuff, and then also maybe some discussion and opinion pieces. So I'm really looking to kind of build this channel out a little bit more, not get fully away from DFS, but be focused on DFS with a little bit of sports chatter, because we all have a passion for sports. Week 2 of the NFL is tomorrow night. Before I went to bed this morning, I put out a tweet at twitter.com/gundaggersports and said, You guys can hit me with any hot takes, questions, anything that you might have, and I would kind of revisit it in a video today. So that's what we're doing. Boss Hog says Matt Breeder's a lock on FanDuel and Cole Beasley 10 catches. I definitely think Cole Beasley gets a lot of targets. I like the Bills' offense here. I like Josh Allen. I like John Brown. That's my favorite connection here. We've seen Beasley be a high target guy without much of a ceiling when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. We saw him be a high target guy last week with not much of a ceiling. So my question is, can Cole Beasley win me a tournament? Because that's basically all I care about. I think he can, right? I think if he falls in the end zone a pair of times, that would be huge. It would be a massive pivot from John Brown. But early on, my expectations are tapered on Beasley. But I'm in love with John Brown. Planet Taylor says Travis Kelce and Chris Thompson are locks to me. I love Travis Kelce. I think he's going to make good on the pair of touchdowns he left on the board last week. Chris Thompson, I was all over Chris Thompson last week. I'm on him this week. But I'm starting to see his name a lot more, and I don't get it. Like, I don't get not why people are now on Chris Thompson that they weren't on him before, because not much has really changed. I know Darius Geis got injured last week, but Adrian Peterson was a healthy scratch. He was inactive last week. So essentially, they traded Darius Geis for Adrian Peterson from game 1 to game 2. So it's kind of the same situation. I think the game script is there for Chris Thompson. I thought it was going to be certainly there last week against the Eagles, where they would have to probably abandon the run here. And I think Adrian Peterson was averaging 2 to 3 yards a carry in his losses last year. I think that probably happens again here, and they need to throw the ball a lot. And we see Chris Thompson line up a lot as a receiver and a check down guy. I think that happens. But if you took out the last drive in that Redskins game last week, Chris Thompson was a fa-la-la-la-la-la-lap. I think he is a great play. I don't know that he's a lock. I don't think he's a safe play. Locks are kind of like safe plays that I would run in cash. But I like him a lot. I'm just really starting to be spooked and startled on his potential ownership, all things considered. Jeremy Oppie50 says David Johnson's a top 3 running back on the week. I like the thought process there. I think David Johnson this season will kind of rejuvenate a lot of his fantasy upside. We saw this guy be like a number 1 overall seasonal pick just a season or two ago. It looks like this air raid offense is going to be really good for him. I don't love the matchup per se against the Ravens. I don't like that it's an indoor team having to travel. I think they lose an hour going from Arizona to Baltimore. And then, they're outside the elements, and it's a little bit different. But David Johnson's one of those guys. If we pull up DraftKings, David Johnson's one of those guys with elite upside. He's 7,100 on DraftKings. I think that's a little hard to fall in love with. He's kind of in no man's land because Alvin Kamara's 8,200, Todd Gurley 7K, Dalvin Cook's there. But certainly makes a lot of sense. Because 7,100, I can live with 25 and feel like I got a good deal. We saw last week he had 7 targets for 55 yards, 6 catches, and a bomb. And he averaged 4.6 yards a carry. So he was a great play last week. I definitely respect the Baltimore defense a little bit more than the Lions defense, but I will say that the way this air raid offense is schemed, a lot of 4 receiver sets, it really stretches the defense as thin as possible, and you can't really stack the box like you used to could, especially with a mobile quarterback, Kyler Murray, and 4 receivers running around. So I do think there's that's a great thought. I think David Johnson is certainly somebody I should be looking a little bit more at in tournaments. And like I said, if I'm running 100 lineups, I don't need to oversaturate my personal exposure to David Johnson, because I think versus the field, it would be pretty easy to double the field if he's single-digit ownership, and I could walk away with 16 to 20% and feel like it's not going to cripple my lineups. So, Uncle Rico, hit us with your favorite Yahoo play. Christian Kirk with a banged-up Ravens D, so kind of sticking to that game. I'd be more receptive to David Johnson here. I'm thinking that the Cardinals receiving core is going to be a very unpredictable receiving core in the National Football League. That air raid offense, like I said, a lot of 4 wide, a lot of A lot of fast-paced chucks. I think Larry Fitzgerald, if we're just going off a week 1 sample size in the last couple of years, I think Larry Fitzgerald's going to be the guy that probably leads the average targets per game for the Arizona Cardinals. But I'm not running to play him here. Maybe I'll revisit this a little bit tonight. Banged up's an interesting description for the Ravens D. I'll have to maybe look at injuries. Matter of fact, NFL injury report. Let's check this out. Let's see if I'm missing something, because I didn't really consider them super banged up. So we'll go Cardinals here and Ravens, Baltimore. Looking at the Baltimore injury report, looks like linebackers banged up, cornerbacks banged up. Marlon Humphrey's listed as questionable. Jimmy Smith out. Yeah, we knew that. Hollywood's hurt. Mark Ingram's going. Mark Andrews. All right. So I think most of these guys are going to play. So yeah, maybe a little banged up. I'm not going to probably put my weekend on a Cardinals receiver this week, though. As far as the second half of your question, favorite Yahoo play. So when I go to Yahoo for their Sunday contest, I'm very cognitive of the fact that they include a game that the other sites don't. Their main slates have the Philadelphia Eagles and Atlanta Falcon game on it. So that's a 52.5 total. Put that in perspective, the Chiefs game is a 53.5 total. The Rams and Saints game is 52. So this could be the second highest total on the day, and most DFS players have exhausted their research on the main slate. So if they leak on over to Yahoo, maybe they're not really caught up on the innings and outings of the Eagles at Atlanta Falcons. If you're a fan of history, Julio Jones has himself a history against the Eagles. His last 5 games have been huge: 31, 22, 26, 38, 27 fantasy points against the Eagles. I mean, this is going back to 2012, but the last couple of years have been fine too. The only knock on that is Jones is the highest priced active receiver on the slate at $36 over there. Maybe you find some secondary plays. I still think there's a case to be made on Devontae Freeman. Maybe not my favorite matchup here, but I think as the season progresses, this is the guy we saw be a top fantasy producer in the league just a few seasons ago. So I'm willing to have some exposure to him in the short term, just to see if I can get that big game before anyone else does. But we saw this Eagles secondary get burnt by Terry McLaurin last week. I think Julio Jones could maybe do some of that. And you can maybe take some long shots on guys like Calvin Ridley. Wouldn't hate a shot at Austin Hooper. The Eagles offense, Deshaun Jackson would absolutely be somebody I go out of my way to play on a slate where I think I can get him low owned. D-Jax lined up more in the slot. He had more snaps in the slot last week than he did all of last season. The Eagles are making it a point to get him involved. The targets were there, 9 targets. He caught 8 of them. You guys know D-Jax has incredible speed. If you put him in, if he can get an open field, cool. But the fact that they're moving him all around formations, especially in the slot, makes D-Jax go from a out receiver that you're hoping for a bomb on 4 targets to a guy that, hey, they're making it a point to get him an opportunity to catch and shoot. $22 on Yahoo salary, I would certainly take a shot on that. So a couple ideas for Yahoo. Let's move on here. Talk about a couple of errant thoughts and ideas that I have. By the way, for those of you guys curious about Yahoo and their pricing and whatnot, in the NFL spreadsheet that we have a player projections tab, and this tab actually has each site's salary, DraftKings, FanDuel, Fantasy Draft, and Yahoo. So you can kind of gauge, like I know $200 salary for Yahoo is a little bit weird and funky, right? We're dealing with $50,000 salary elsewhere. In this spreadsheet, it'll actually tell you how much a player is percentage of salary. So Patrick Mahomes is 15% of your DraftKings salary. He's 20.5% of your Yahoo salary. 14.3% of your fantasy draft salary, 15% of your FanDuel salary. So definitely more capita of your Yahoo salary. But now scoring is a little bit different. No PPR, no bonus, and stuff like that. But if you're curious to expand your portfolio of contest play to different sites, this tab is pretty cool at helping you do that. And of course, it does have projections and whatnot. Where was I going? Oh, hey, let's talk about some contests to play for tomorrow. Last week I mentioned tiers. The big tiers contest on DraftKings last week overlaid by almost 20,000 entries. It only hit 53,774, and it was like a 70,000 entry contest. So it overlaid pretty hard. And now they've kind of overcorrected their offering this week, but that's just a great example of being a smart shopper, looking around. I mean, look at what won 50 grand in the tiers contest. Christian McCaffrey was under 20%. Julio Jones, as poor of a day he had, was still a guy that won 50 grand. Amari Cooper, Dalvin Cook, Chris Godwin, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Matt Ryan, 226.42, where we saw lineups pushing 300 to win real money. So I definitely encourage you guys to stay on the tiers. We have a tab for that in a spreadsheet. I will have to adjust some of these projections here later tonight. But man, if you're like me and you're like, man, I really hate how DraftKings made pricing super soft this week. Well, this kind of tightens it up, takes salary out of the equation, and gives you a pool of players per tier to kind of choose from. So I'll definitely be playing some tiers this week, 100% playing some tiers this week. With that said, FanDuel also has contests called the SuperFlex that you guys can check out. The goal here on FanDuel, not the goal, but the difference here on FanDuel is you don't have to choose defense. Obviously, there's no kicker as well. And you can have two quarterbacks, so you can make some really, really funky lineups. Maybe the prize pools aren't as massive, but hey, $1,000 to first on a $4 entry, sure, give it a shot. So I definitely think that this NFL season, I've challenged myself to play as much contests and volume and stretch as much as possible because the opportunity for money is just so big. This is one of those type of contests that I would like to play because the edge is still a little bit sharper than these other contests. The amount of YouTube channels out there providing advice, the amount of websites out there sanding down the edge on every type of contest, stuff like the tiers, stuff like the showdown, stuff like the Superflex still are not being covered to a high degree, and probably not going to see a ton of sharks in these contests because they're so focused on their millions of dollars elsewhere. So hey man, get money where you can get it. Maybe look past winning 50 grand for once and go win 1 to 5K in a tiers contest, a super sharp contest. The tiers payout was really nice, by the way. So, for instance, if you really liked Patrick Mahomes, and this contest type and roster construction makes it much easier to game stack too. But if you liked Mahomes and you just like the Raiders game stack, you could fire up Mahomes, Derek Carr, and just go get all the pieces of the game. I don't know that you can get all the pieces, but let's just try it just real quick. Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes. Let's get Sammy Watkins, and let's get Waller. Let's get Kelsey. Let's get Tyrell Williams. Bam. We still got 82 per. Look at that. You can game stack that game. Still have money for running backs here. Now, I'm not going to fill this out, but there's only 3 running backs that you couldn't get, but I still think you could. If you threw in Alvin Kamara, that would give you James Conner. This is huge. Like, I love this lineup, right? So you can do a lot of different things over there. So try the Superflex. Try the tiers. The tiers contest this week. Looks like it's only a little over half full. Remember, anything under $5, unless it's a mini max, you can only have 20 entries totals here. So you drop $80 on this tier contest. Go for it. Like I'm definitely doing it. So have some fun with that. Play outside the box. Think outside the box. And speaking of thinking outside the box, let's talk about the main slate before I get out of here to get into the VIP Discord. I think that the questions this week is not necessarily who to play. I think we all are on the same core of games. The Raiders Chiefs games. I kind of am looking at the Texans a little bit. There's a couple of spots where there's high totals. I think the Steelers offense is picking up some steam. A lot of people are on Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. I think the question is what we do with the ownership projections and how drastic do we leverage ourselves versus those projections, whether it be over or under the field on a specific player. I looked at some projections last night. I saw Tyrell Williams and Alvin Kamara were projected to be the highest owned players on the week. I have literally no argument against either one of those. So my question is, do I want to be above or below? Now, I saw them projected at 30 to 40%. If I want to be above, I'm probably going to be aggressively above. I'm not going to be 100%, but probably 70 to 80% pricing considered, especially in Tyrell. Tyrell, I think, has a little less bust potential because of his price. Now, Alvin Kamara, I think, is a smash play too, so I'll probably end up with at least 70% of him. But the point is, decide what you want to do versus the field. Now, if you think a guy like Josh Jacobs, and this is kind of the spot that I'm at. Josh Jacobs, I saw projected to be 25 to 30% yesterday, and this could all change tonight and tomorrow. I think he has more potential to let us down than Tyrell Williams, than Darrell Waller from the Raiders offense, just because he was in a super positive game script the entire Monday night game. Talked about this in the value video, and he only had like one target. So there's a potential that Josh Jacobs has more of a Leonard Fournette game than we saw last week, which was just 14 fantasy points, which is not likely to win a tournament at 50% own. And I think, if I saw his ownerships getting egregious at 30 to 40%, I might get a little bold there and maybe look for pivots on him. It's just a matter of how much you like an individual play versus how much the field likes it, and then how much you like some of these pivots to these plays, and that goes for every position at every price point. Everyone's running to play Alvin Kamara. He's my favorite running back. He's too cheap, all things considered. He's 8,200. Above him, Ezekiel Elliott, $500 more at the Washington Redskins. He didn't get a ton of volume in week 1 because, hey, he held out the entire offseason. He had 13 carries, 2 targets. He said he's ready for a regular workload. Now, I didn't really see coaches confirm that they were going to completely take the chains off him, but how much more on top of 13 attempts can we get here? When do we get the 20-carry Ezekiel Elliott game with 5 targets to boot? Does he have potential to put up more than Alvin Kamara? In a vacuum, yes. Again, the concerns here is how much volume he has if Jason Garrett's ready to unleash him. And then Saquon Barkley wasn't a massive play in week 1, 20 fantasy points on 11 carries, 6 targets. Sterling Shepard's in the concussion protocol. Golden Tate is still suspended. It's Barkley, it's Evan Ingram. Those are literally Eli Manning's 1 and 2 options with a little talent. I mean, you can bring up Cody Lattimore and guys like that, but it's Barkley and Evan Ingram. So Barkley at 9,200 is likely to get single-digit ownership here, particularly because of Alvin Kamara being $1,000 cheaper. In a simulation of this slate, if you ran it 100 times, there is still times where Barkley outscores Alvin Kamara. Now, the right play, the majority of the time is Kamara, and we all know that. Well, but tournaments is all about leveraging the field here. So is Saquon Barkley going to be 5% or less owned here? I'm just thinking out loud. Haven't seen any ownership projections. And if he is, if you're running 100 lineups, do you have 0% of Saquon, who could theoretically be the highest scorer on the slate? I know it's not a great matchup. Le'Veon Bell, I think, pushed out 20 fantasy points. Barkley has a similar repertoire and arsenal of Le'Veon Bell and likely gets a whole heck of a lot of targets. Another guy would be like Todd Gurley, $7K, $200 cheaper than Dalvin Cook. Last week, 14 carries, almost 100 yards, had a target. I think his backup had the pair of touchdowns, but it's not like he was completely out of the game. Like, it's not like he was looking bad. It's not like he was purposely held down here. So is Todd Gurley going to break a slate coming forward at 7K? Very, very possible. And not only that, could you play Gurley and Alvin Kamara together and just kind of like abandon Josh Jacobs and maybe get into more of the value receivers? Definitely there's plenty of ways to go with this slate that we can offset some of our chalkier players, our higher owned players, with a couple of not-chalk plays. And it doesn't have to be value plays. It can be some of these higher-tier guys, 7 to 8K guys. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So I will personally probably force in a little bit of Gurley because everyone's on this game, but no one's really hyping up Gurley, man. We're out here playing Kamara. We're playing Kupp and Brandon Cooks and the quarterbacks and whatnot. I definitely think Todd Gurley has some real estate in this game to like him a heck of a lot. Anyway, I need to get out of here because we have an obligation to the subscribers in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. If you guys want to get on that, if you've seen this video on Saturday night, we're probably still there. So go over there right now, RunDFS.com, get signed up. If you have any questions for me, go to twitter.com/GundackerSports. My DMs are open. If you got any questions on how to sign up or what to sign up with, I will certainly be around to help you out all night. I'm going to get over there. We've got a lot of action tomorrow, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So let's go make some winning lineups. Love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.